Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to SimPlay Motorsport. My name is Dan Davis, and I'll be bringing you all the action once again here in the Pro-Am category, and we are live once again here at Spa. And what a fun night's worth of racing we have ahead of us. Once again, I'll be bringing you all the action for the Pro-Am category. Like I said, hopefully we won't get too used to my voice, as hopefully Lexi next time out will be in the comments box. Still sorting out her internet, but like I said, hopefully all that should be sorted very soon. But we are live here at SPA-Francorchamps for the second round of the Pro-Am Championship, and things are hotting up as the pace gets quicker, the temperature starts to rise as we start to get our way to the spring start of the season. But nonetheless, these Pro-Am drivers are going to be pushing the limits at this historic circuit. Speaking of our historic circuit, as I will try and get you some information on the track map of this beautiful circuit nonetheless. So we are live here at Spa-Francorchamps for the second round of the season, and here is the track map and information you need to know about Spa-Francorchamps. Circuit layout is about 4.3 miles long and 7.0 kilometers long. Number of corners is 19, and left of them are going to be 9 of them, and right of them are going to be 10. The right position, the pole position is on the right. ACC lap record here is a 2:14.9, set in the Ford Mustang GT3, and the most successful drivers around this circuit is myself and Overtaker. Obviously, we shall see how these guys will get on this evening. But Spa-Francorchamps, a legendary circuit nonetheless, and an iconic for wet weather. But tonight we have no wet weather. We have some beautiful sunshines, a little bit of cloud in the sky, but nonetheless, track temperature is 20 degrees, air temperature is 15 degrees, and not a bit of wind at all here. Obviously, I don't think ACC there is ever any wind, but nonetheless, we are live, and let's see who's in the chat this evening. And we have got Benedict Varga, who is currently on circuit at the minute. We got Fury's Granda saying evening all and good luck everyone. We got Gary Clarbo, evening all. We got Swift in the chat saying evening all, and obviously we got Lewis Hibbs dad, evening all, good luck everyone, and especially to Hibbs, who currently at the minute is sitting third and doing it for the Greasy Bandits Racing. So like I said, round 2 of the season here at Spa-Francorchamps, and we still got a very, very long season ahead. And hopefully up on the screen any moment now should be the calendar for you. And as you can see, we've just had Brands Hatch, our first evening race and our only evening race of the season. We're here at Spa-Francorchamps for the second round. Then it's Indianapolis next for our morning race. Then we head down under to Bathurst, Mount Panorama. Then for round 5 is Silverstone, the home of British Motorsport, and then we head to South Africa, round 6 for Kyalami, and then we have our first night race, the one and only Italian race, Imola, for round 7. Then we head Germany for round 8 for the Nürburgring, then Austria for our second and last night race of the season of the Red Bull Ring, round 9, and then back to a British soil for round 10 at Alton Park, finishing the back end of the season stateside at Watkins Glen, and finishing things off at SimPlay Motorsport's home circuit of Donington Park. And obviously as well, if you do like what you see here at SimPlay Motorsport, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel and hit that bell to be notified so you don't miss anything here as well. And if you are a driver and you do want to be a part of the Patreon, then head over to our Patreon page, where it's £3 you can reserve your race number, priority access for sign-ups and events, and track suggestions in later seasons. You get priority on events, and also your streams will automatically be uploaded to the Discord. Now we got all that out of the way, we now look to tonight's race, and obviously more importantly we look to the championship standings. Obviously this is very important, the championship standings, because this would determine our grid for this evening. Obviously the sprint race tonight is a reverse grid, still a 30-minute race as normal. And it is Sny who is leading the way at the minute with 105 points to his name. He's 9 points ahead of Hibbs, who's second in the championship. Ramsel is third, with Stardog in fourth. Delimiter in P5, with Millington in P6. Sam in that P7 position as I try and get another driver while we are going round. So Sam in that P7 position. Goudet sat in P8 with Fat Bloke in P9. Wolski in 10th place with Williams in 11th. Old Sim Racer in that 12th position. Argent in 13th place with Johnson sat in 14th. Lem Speed 1 in 15th with Taylor in 16th. Flores in 17th place position. Varga in 18th. Saunders in 19th. Sturrock in 20th with Smith in 21st. We got Beck in 22nd with Tucker 23rd. Fernie 24th. Craig in 25th. Andrews in 26th position with Evsky in 27th. 28th is the Cranky Duckhead. DJ Phil is in 29th. Best in 30th. Betterson 31st and Lane in 32nd. Richie still yet to set some points, nor has Waste and a few others as well. Regarding the team's championship, it is Cam Racing leading the way of the Greasy Bandits Racing, and only 6 points separate them, with Fat Bloke Racing in 3rd, FSO Racing Team in 4th, with Mad Dog Motorsport in 5th, SimPlay Racing in 6th, with 7th Stage 2 Motorsport with Team Tom in P8. Then we have Roadrunners Motorsport in that 9th place position with Team Murloc in P10. P11 is Cloud9 Racing with Richie Corsa Team in 12th. 13th is the Ball Busters Racing, with 14th is Quantum Motorsport. I hope I've got this right this time. Quantum Motorsport with RB GT Team in 15th. Mobbers Racing in 16th, and TRC Autosport in that 17th place position. Autosport. So those are your championship standings, and obviously that is based on that reverse grid order. So Sny is currently sat 17th at the minute, and he's going to be starting to the very back of the pack. But it is John Goudet who is setting the pace here in the Aston Martin, with free practice coming to an end. Hibbs in that 3rd place position, and a split by the Porsche of the limiter at the minute, with Millington not too far off, with Ramsel as well, all relatively close. Sam once again looking like he's got good performance in that BMW, with Beck in 7th at the minute, with Varga sat in 8th. Luke Saunders sat in 9th, and Old Sim Racer in 10th place position. As you can see, the times are a little bit more spread out. Being here at Spa-Francorchamps is a much longer circuit, and not as tight as we would like to see. But nonetheless, it is going to be some great action. Susie Cream Cheese in the chat saying evening. Lexian say good evening, SimPlay Nation. Thanks for hopping in for me, Dan. Not a problem, Lexi. Hopefully we shall see you next time out. Now that's a schedule with T. Not sure what you're on about there, Mac, but nonetheless, Lexi in the chat saying yes, and Audi O as well. So guys, let's hear from you in the chat. Obviously we've got the first race coming up very shortly, as Hibbs is going to finish his lap. I'm not sure if Johnson is on a lap at the minute. He does cross the line. Is it Johnson? I'm not sure who it is. It is Old Sim Racer, and he comes to the end. It is going to be Hicks on pole position. Matthew Hicks with Richie alongside him. Betterson and Bess are on the front row. So we're looking to see how he gets on. Wow, Mr. Goudet is a rocket, says Benedict Varga. So let's get our first prediction in for tonight. And hopefully we should see some great action here tonight. Like I said, guys, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell to be notified. Are we looking forward to this one? Let me hear you guys in the chat. Sprint race winner coming up very shortly, so you can vote on who you think is going to win this one. And again, like I said, let's get your opinions on this circuit. What do we think of Spa-Francorchamps? What a challenge, let alone a very fast circuit. It's just a challenge on its own. As there goes up the pole. 20 seconds. Swift saying hi to Susie. It's not. If it's not fixed by next week, I'm getting a train to Sunderland and going to Virgin HQ myself. Tipping in the chat saying good evening all, and she also says hashtag come on quantum. I hope Matt right, I'm not getting that wrong. Lexi, make sure I'm pronouncing that right. But nonetheless, we have got our grid all in place, and speaking of the grid, this is what it will look like as it now loads up onto your screen. Starting from pole position, it will be Matthew Hicks will start on pole position ahead of Mirko Ricci alongside him. Then it's going to be Bettison in that third position with Best in P4. P5 is going away of DJ Phil with P6 going away of the Cranky Duckhead. P7 is Aveski with P8 going the way of B. Craig. Ramy Ferding starting in P9 with Tucker in P10. Stephen Beck starting in 11th with Rob Smith joining him in P12. P13 is Starrock with Saunders alongside him for 13th and 14th place position. 15th is Benedict Varga with Diego Flores starting in 16th place position. 17th will go the way of Andrew Taylor. Flemsby Ward joins him in 18th place position. 19th would be Michael Johnson, and Kieran Arjun join him in 20th position. Old Sim Racer 21st, and 22nd will be Paul Williams. 23rd Wolski with Fabloke in 24th position. 25th John Goudet. Now we get to the fast end of the grid with 26th going the way of Sam Greaves. 27 is Stephen Millington with the limiter in 28th position. 29th will be Stardog with Robert Ramsell in 30th position. Back end of the championship, and that means Hibbs will start 31st and Snai in 32nd. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is your grid for tonight's sprint race. So guys, get your votes in on who you think is going to win this first race. You are correct. Finally, Quadrum. I've got a Quantum. I finally got that right. I'll be running a Quantum Academy, but not allowed. So I brought LIR name out of retirement from the Project Cars 2 days for GT4. Lol. Nice to see a comeback for a name. But at the front, it is Hicks and Ritchie on the front row. Like I said, let's hear from you guys in the chat. Let's get some conversations going. Let's get this chat underway. Reminder as well, the GT4s did carry ballast. We are running the bot for the GT3, so they'll be carrying significant weight to balance out these cars. I know for a fact the Mustang carries a heavy lot of weight due to the fact of its advantage around this circuit. 5 different manufacturers towards the front. We've got Ferrari, Lambo, BMW, Audi and McLaren all representing near the front of the grid. Who's going to be top dog tonight? That is the question. So guys, like I said, spam that like button, hit that bell to be notified so you don't miss anything here at all. And also, while you're at it, head over into our description and follow our Facebook page, our Twitter, our TikTok, and so on and so forth. Also, while you're there, head over to Design Manchester, designers of producing vinyl graphics, laser engraved gifts, mugs, printed clothing, and much more, including SimPlay merchandise. While you're also there, have a look at Audiosport, manufacturers of VW Transporter, T4 audio solutions, and styling products. Head over to www.audiosport.co.uk. No Method Duffin, I thought I was watching GT4s again, hearing you. Dan says, Harris, no, it's just me again. Hopefully it'll be Lexi bringing you all the action from later on this season. But yes, I've had to step in. Matt is on call because a baby's about to pop out at any time, so sadly he is not joining me in the comms box. He is on red alert, ready to go, so who knows, we'll be doing it tomorrow night. Hopefully Matt is able to do it, but no, sadly you're gonna have to put up with my my beautiful voice. But yeah, as they get themselves 2 by 2. And also, while I remember as well, make sure you keep an eye on the sign-ups and availability for the 24 hours of the Nordschleife, our fight against cancer. And that obviously being pushed and driven by Paul Williams. So FBR and SimPlay coming together to take on the challenge of the Nordschleife, as everybody out there every day takes on the challenge of beating cancer. Can we beat the circuit? That is a question. As they run 2 by 2, and I'm not sure what happened to Hicks there. He's disappeared. As I've just lost Hicks. I'm not sure if we're losing drivers here, but nonetheless, it's now going to be Richie on pole. Betterson alongside him in the BMW as we're about to go green at Spa-Francorchamps, and away we go. Down towards turn number 1, and the Lamborghini will get the jump as they head up towards the hill. Through Eau Rouge and Radion they go as everyone survived. Looks like we have, but there's a car off. And there's multiple cars. There's cars everywhere. There is a complete traffic jam at the back of the pack. Oh my God. As they finally get going, the fat bloke comes out of the pits to see the confetti of cars. But Hicks managing to get back into the session. Fernie's returned to the pits. There are still cars everywhere. What a disaster at the start of this race, but Richie leads the way ahead of Betterson, and they pulled away from Best, from DJ Phil, from the Cranky Duck at Best, Tucker, Taylor, Smith, Struck, and Saunders. Williams damaged the front end of his car, Millington, and this is the back of that pack as well. But absolute chaos here, and moving to one side. Everyone survived seconds later. The women's series, aka Spa, crash, and yeah, it's been absolute chaos there. It's Betterson trying to hustle the back of the Lamborghini of Richie, but there's going to be a lot of cars with a lot of damage, and then we got this leading pack here, and in the middle of that is Steve Beck. So this time round, Steve Beck had a bit of bad luck last time out at Brands Hatch, and Williams was the one who capitalised. Maybe it's his turn to capitalise, and Williams end up in trouble. But meanwhile, Taylor in the background goes very, very wide. And you can see Matt Hicks has come back into pits, Fernie's in the pits, Flores is in the pits, and look at these damaged cars. There's Sam with a damaged car. That also looks like the limiter, I think, has got damage also. Argent, the bumper, hang on, I've never seen the back end of a car. Look at the state of the rear wing on the Bentley. That is fully crooked, as there's a lot of damage to a lot of cars here. But Richie leading the way ahead of Besson, and Best nearly drops the back end of the car as DJ Phil works his way through. As there goes Taylor. I think Taylor's dropped it. Yes, he has. Taylor's dropped it all on his own, but luckily it's quite a big gap. And Beck's moving up the order, and also Smith is having a good start as well. What carnage here, and a lot of people responding to that. And Richie goes through Eau Rouge and Radion, as we will start to see cars peeling into the pits. Goudet and Greaves managing to get away most of that. Dick Goudet sustained damage. No, he got a little bit of damage by the looks of things, but been patient and waited. I think this is the leading group. Hibbs is in this, Ramsell as well. So they guys are the ones that cleared the traffic. Wolfsky as well, Snye as well, and Stardog. All these guys were in the mix of all that, but they managed to clear most of it. Greaves is going with the damage, and Fat Bloke with a great opportunity here. Started from pit lane, avoided all the chaos, and he's got a fresh car, but he's been hit. He's been hit, and the limiter hits it, but he manages to save it and not put it in the wall. The limiter, meanwhile, in the wall with significant damage, and through goes a few other cars, and we've already got a heck of a lot of cars with damage here. So Richie pulling away from Best, and Beck is now in third place. Can he do anything about the leaders, as Best in that fourth place position, as we see here. Smith looking up the inside of DJ Phil, and he'll get the job done on him. Now Struck looking also up the inside. Is he going to possibly try and make a move? That is the question. He cannot find a move at the minute. So Struck just sitting in that 8th place position. Saunders managed to get away scot-free, as did the Cranky Duckhead. Taylor under a bit of pressure now from Ramsell, as the rest of the pack get themselves into order. And we see there side by side is Wolfsky and Stardog by the looks of things. So Stardog trying to work his way through the order. He is carrying Snye right behind him as well. So Snye not having the best of starts here and working his way through the order. And just behind them is John Goudet. A bit of dirt being kicked up there. Was that Taylor? Possibly, no, it was Millington, I think. So Millington kicking up the dirt a little bit just ahead. But it is Richie leading away from Besson in second. Richie setting fastest lap of the race. And we see here, Best has been overtaken by Tucker. He is now under pressure from Smith. 1988 all over again, very much so. Oh, Dan, 2.5 minutes of damage. I could do nothing to avoid. That's such a shame for Benedict Varga. He caught up right in the damage, and obviously the problem is there's a very long pit lane as well, which hurts them even more. Best, meanwhile, is still under pressure from the Mustang. Oh, Cranky Duckhead's gone very wide, and that's allowed Taylor through, Ramsell through, and I believe Hibbs through as well. And that's the depressing part as well. All the cars that are in the paint with major damage have to stop again. They will have to do their pit stop as Sam comes in. So does Paul Williams. So these guys with the damage have managed to carry on going and pit within the pit window. So they've managed to make it work. But how much is it going to help him in the end? That is the question. As Smith's still attacking Best at the minute, but no way through. Taylor now onto the back of Duckhead, but he's dropped back. And DJ Phil is the next on his list. Robert Ramsell is with him. So they're going with the Audi. He's going to look up the inside. DJ Phil staying to the outside of the circuit, and through goes Taylor. And up the inside goes Robert Ramsell. Also, Robert Ramsell looking to the outside. I'm going to attempt quickly to change the cameras as Hibbs joins onto the session. As actually, we're going to stay on this fight. Ramsell up the inside going into Pouon. And is Hibbs going to join him? Ramsell's through, Hibbs is through, and DJ Phil drops down the order once again. And as I will quickly try and change the camera for you guys so that we can get a better action of this race. Sorry, we will be right back. 2 seconds. Like I said, I will get a keyboard for next week. I promise you that. Yeah, Hibbs is now onto the back of Ramsell. But it is Richie leading the way ahead of Betson. These are much better cameras. Back in that third place position now. Comfortable gap to these guys, and Tucker's pulled away. Here we go. Best and Smith going at it, and Best has hit him. Smith has gone round. And big damage by the possible to him there. And Best a little bit rude there. As around the outside goes, struck. Saunders looking to make a move, and Taylor into the pits. And once again, the cameras have changed just when I didn't want them to. So I love ACC, absolutely terrible. We're going to have to stick to these terrible cameras, I'm afraid, as a lot of the guys are now coming into the pits. Stephen Millington losing out there to Snai, and Snai has now made a position. No one's gone green yet in the pits. These are only guys, and Argent's only now leaving the pits. That is how much damage he has had, and what a chaotic first race. We will have to try and find out what caused that, as Sam is the first to complete his stop, and away he goes. So Beck now setting fastest lap of the race and started to catch the leaders at quite a rapid pace as well. So we keep an eye on that, as Luke Saunders now looking to make a move on Best. And Best going around the outside. He's going to have the inside for the next part of the corner. Saunders giving him a lot of room and respect. And a lot of support for the Hibbs. Support in the chat, what I can see. And Luke Saunders now looking to the inside. Here comes Ramsell as well. Ramsell's going up the inside of Best, and contact made. As Hibbs will go around the outside, will he gain a position? And he's side by side with Ramsell, and Ramsell allows him through. So Hibbs, another position gain. He's now going to attempt to try and get past Best. Some close, hard racing here. Car has gone off by the sounds of things. That was Saunders. He's made a mistake, and around he goes. And through the S's, there you go. A lot of the drivers have now gone green in the pit stops. In the background there, we see Luke Saunders getting back onto the rear of, I believe that is Hicks, who's done his pit stop, I think. But we're sticking to this fight at the minute. It is quite close. I believe the top 3 cars are the only ones that I know that don't have damage. Best, yeah, he's got a little bit of damage to the splitter there. Oh, they all go wide, Hibbs and Best and Ramsell, as Beck comes into the pits, and Best has missed his brakes, I think. No, he's managed to get it together. He's got it stopped, but he's gone off, and he's had to take the shortcut. Is now Hibbs opting to pit. pits? Yes, he does, and Ramsell continues on through, so he might have been better off to join Hibbs in the pit, but Best losing a position there to Ramsell now, as Ramsell goes up the inside, but he goes a bit deep, and Best has to fall into position. So now a little bit of damage on the front of his car. Let's see where all this is panned out. Where is Sam? Sam is currently in 20th. And nowhere near the leading pitters. Tucker is now the leading pitter, and let's have a look at a car that does not have any damage, because there's quite a few gaps at the minute. So Richie pretty clean on his car, and Betterson also very clean, and Beck opting to pit as well. His car looks pretty clean, so no damage to his. As Best still trying to fight with Ramsell, but Ramsell is pulling away. Maya's in the chat. Aaron Maya saying, hi lads, hope I have not missed much. Well, you've just missed a crash back from 1998. Big crash, let's just put it that way. As Richie's starting to extend that gap to Betterson. Now Richie's going to have to start thinking about Beck, who's in the pits. And once again, Best under pressure from the Mustang now. Who is that? That looks like it is... Oh, that looks like it is Smith. Through goes Smith. And Best losing out, and through goes Snye as well. So Snye makes a position as well. So position gain for the BMW. Oh, and Best has a moment. Has he kept it together? No, he's gone round. So Best making that mistake. So Richie now coming to the final end of this lap. Is he going to opt to pit? That is the question. No, he's going for one more lap. Betterson carries on through as well. No, he pits now. So this is going to be a good representation of where Beck comes in after all of that. So he's now only gone into sector 2 as Betterson comes into the pits. That's how much of a gap. Oh, Hibbs has just got past Struck as well. So Hibbs has pitted and has got ahead of Struck. Beck is down towards a no-name. Well, Hibbs is his next challenger, and he's only now coming out of the tight chicane, so he's got quite a bit of a gap, and he can purely focus on the leaders. Ramsell in as well, and there's all sorts of cars out of position here. And Tucker under pressure from Hibbs, Taylor, Struck, and Saunders not too far behind them either. And Andrew Aberdeen in the chat saying, evening everyone. As they're all trying to work their way through. Hibbs with a lot of momentum, great through Pouon. But he's not quite close enough to Tucker. This is a great little four-way fight. What else is going on? And DJ Phil's caught Cranky Duckhead. Goudet has cleared all those guys as well. So John Goudet, even though he's ended up in that absolute chaos of a start of a lap, he has had good progress and worked his way forward. Back to Hibbs though. On to the back of Tucker. On Taylor goes very wide again. That is going to be a track limits warning for him. But we stay on board with Tucker because Hibbs is on the attack. He's on the move. Where is he going to pounce? Can Tucker fight off the McLaren driver? Through towards the bus stop chicane we go. Hibbs, is he going to look to the inside? No, Tucker breaks just as late and just makes the apex, and he's going to have to wait a little bit longer. Meanwhile, where is Beck? He is coming out of the final corner as Betterson now goes green. So Beck not close enough yet. Hibbs, meanwhile, is still trying to find a way past on Tucker. What he'll need now is a fantastic exit out of turn number 1, so he gets a great run up Eau Rouge and Radion. We will come back to him in a few moments' time as DJ Phil still fighting with that of the Cranky Duckhead, looking to the inside, possibly not quite close enough. Fat Bloke has done Wolfski, as that was the other fight that was happening. And now Best is in the pits, but we're on board with Tucker, 59. That is Stephen Millington for speeding in the pit lane. And Ramsell comes out of the pits and he's been mugged by the two McLarens. Hibbs versus Tucker. Towards the chicane we go. Tucker goes deep. Hibbs goes up the inside, and Hibbs gets the position. Or has he? He runs wide. But no, job done for Hibbs. Tucker drops the position, but he has now got the pack of Ferraris swarming behind him, and Ramsell's now looking down the inside. Up the inside he goes, and Tucker goes from leading the pack, dropping down the pack, and being mugged left, right, and centre. Robert Ramsell gains the position. Taylor now on the rear wing of the McLaren. Can he do anything about the position? Millington, meanwhile, big disaster, stop and go for speeding in the pit lane as Fat Bloke now onto the back of DJ Phil. Hicks now finally in the pits, but I think Hicks is suffering with internet issues as Richie and Sny are both into the pits. There is Beck, and he is caught up with Betterson. 1.4 is the gap. Meanwhile, we go back to Taylor.
Pit window is now closed.
Pit window closed, so if anyone has not done their stop within the window, they are done, and that is Diego Flores. Taylor, meanwhile, trying to bring the gap down to the McLaren driver of Tucker. Ramsell, you can just see he's slightly ahead, has got a little bit of damage to that Ferrari, so he's not going to be in perfect condition to pull away. Meanwhile, Richie has gone green. Where is Betterson? He's into turn number 1. Richie, though, was one of the first late entries into the pit lane. We've got a yellow flag up the far end of the circuit. I'm not sure who that is, but there is a car off. I'm trying to figure out who that is. Unsure who it is, but either way, Richie has now come out of the pits, and where is Betterson? There he is! And here comes Betterson around the outside of Richie, but here comes Beck! Beck looks to the inside of turn number 1, but he can't get the job done. No, he's not far enough, but he's got time. He's got 4 minutes to go. Sadly, we do not run a PC championship at this stage, but hopefully in the future we will do. We'll get back to you on that one. As the action is starting to heat up here, Betterson now leads this race with 3.5 minutes left to go. 1.5 laps to go, and Richie has made a mistake. Hibbs is now up to P4. Really unlikely to get on the podium unless something happens to the leaders. Someone has returned back to the pits. I'm not sure who it is. Let's have a look who is in the pit lane. It was the cranky duckhead. He's back to the pit lane. But meanwhile, Betterson leading the way from Beck, from Richie. Top 3 going at it, and what a reverse grid we have had so far. Hibbs pulling away from Ramsell ahead of Tucker and Taylor, who's not really doing anything at this minute, so your fight is the leaders. And Beck, a disastrous Brands Hatch, comes to Spa, and he is looking to possibly take a race win away from Betterson. I don't know if Betterson's even had a race win to his name. I also forgot to do the weekly roundup. No one's on a 50th, no one's on an appearance, so really it's down to who's going to win this race from the top 3, and Richie has dropped off the back of the leaders. Mirko's got no answer. Beck, meanwhile, is attacking the BMW. Betterson keeps the car in the middle of the circuit. Betterson using the McLaren to its advantage. We cross the line to possibly start our final lap. Yes, we will, unless these boys are doing 2:15s. I doubt they are. But it is going to be the fight to the death of Betterson, Beck and Richie for the race win here. Currently got 37 people watching the stream. Hit that like button, please, guys, and subscribe to the channel if you are new here, and hit the bell to be notified so you don't miss anything. Betterson has made a mistake in turn 1, and Beck has got the run. He's got the lead. He's got Rouge and Radion, and he leads the sprint race. Betterson, though, could come back, but Richie's had a brilliant run through Rouge and Radion. They're all in the slipstream. Beck trying to break the slipstream. The Porsche of, I'm not sure who the Porsche is. I think that is the Limiter, or no, Flemsby 1, right on the back of him. Obviously can't interfere whatsoever, but Betterson's had a great run through the S's here. He's now onto the back of Beck, but Beck's had a better exit. Harris in the chat. Harris in the chat saying, come on, Beck, lad. And Crown in the chat saying, good casting, mate. Leaving a like for that. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you for supporting the channel. But Beck leading the way. He's still got half a lap to go, and he's got 2 very fast cars behind him, of the Betterson and Richie. Lamborghini and BMW hunting the McLaren down. It has been McLaren dominant so far in the GT4s, with O'Reilly taking 2 wins last night. But can the McLaren keep his momentum up in the hands of Beck as they go through the final few laps, a few corners here, into the final sector we go, and Betterson goes a little bit wide, gets a little bit contemplated there. but I think Beck is going to hold on. He just needs to find the bus stop. It looks good. It looks clean. Richie runs wide and can't stick to the BMW Betterson. Or can he? Betterson's possibly missed a gear. He's going side by side. Beamer versus Lambo. Oh, they hit the curb, Betterson. Oh, Flemspeed's right on the back of him. But we go to your race leader, Steve Beck, from the back of the pack, or mid-pack, coming through in the McLaren to win a brilliant sprint race. He wins Stage 2 Motorsport, take the first win with Steve Beck at the wheel. Brilliant stuff. Richie nicks it right at the end, ahead of Betterson in third. Where is Hibbs? Strong championship points for him here. He's going to finish fourth in this race with a little bit of damage to the front end of his car. Brilliant stuff from him in fourth place position. Ramsell is going to finish in fifth, with Tucker coming home in that sixth place position ahead of Taylor, ahead of Struck in that eighth place. Saunders caught them in the end with Goudet in that 10th place position. Snai, still decent points for him. He is the championship leader, but he will leave thinking, okay, scored decent points, could have ended a lot worse. Meanwhile, Wolski is trying to catch DJ Phil. And DJ Thrill into the chicane. Top 15 for DJ Phil. He'll be happy with that one. And to the line he comes. DJ Phil finishing in 12th place position, with Wolski in that 13th place position. Best is going to hang in there for a best position of 14th, with Fat Bloke coming in that 15th place position in the McDonald's livery. Yes, well deserved Mega Drive, says Harris in the chat. I forgot to end the poll. I was that excited. I forgot to end the poll. Smith is just going to finish ahead of Sam, and here comes Smith. A brilliant drive in the end for him to take 16th place position. Greaves in that 17th. Williams, his teammate, had the luck this time round. He had the bad luck, and to the line he comes. The limiter, meanwhile, taking fastest lap of the race in that Porsche. We'll keep an eye on him come qualifying. What lap time can he produce as Williams crosses the line for 18th. Limiter is going to finish in 19th. Millington is going to finish in that 20th position. Hicks in 21st. Johnson 22nd. Benedict Varga in 23rd. As he now comes to the end of the race, who's ahead of him? Sounds like a Porsche. That is the limiter. 19th place position for him. Benedict Varga crosses the line in 23rd. Flemspeed 1, 24th. Craig 25th. Argent 26th. Stardog 27th. Fernie 28th. Duckhead 29th. Old Tim Racer 30th. And Flores in 31st, and 4 laps down. What are the lap times? We will bring them to you in the next session. This is the Pro-Am category, so our slower class. So we'll bring them into the qualifying sessions, but we will have a short break as we'll go into a short practice session, and we'll be back for the feature in a few moments' time. So grab a drink, grab a cup of coffee, grab something to eat, because it's about to get spicy for the feature race. We will see you in a few moments' time. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the SimPlay Motorsport stream. And we're about to get qualifying back underway here as Rob Smith will lead them out of the pit lane for our qualifying session here. A 15-minute qualifying session for these guys. Obviously, last night with the GT4s that only had 5 minutes, which pretty much meant they only had one lap to really show what they had to offer. But for the GT3s, there is 15 minutes, including for the pros tomorrow night as well. Monday, guys, there is 19 likes at the minute. Let's hit that like button, smash that button, as we are looking to go into this season trying to reach as many subscribers as we possibly can, trying to reach that magical number of 1,000. So please hit that like button, as we are going to try and get some qualifying predictions in for this one. As I will quickly read you the championship standings as well. But it is a good way to start the night. A little bit chaotic in that first race, and if you did not see, then go back at the start of the stream, because that was just complete chaos. But nonetheless, every driver pretty much got to the end of that race. I don't know, a few maybe retired, but nonetheless, pretty much everyone gave it a good go. As I will get a poll going for who you think is going to take pole position for this session. So after all of that, and Smith comes into the final corner, start his qualifying session. The championship standings looks like this. Hibbs is leading the way with 8 points ahead of Robert Ramsell in second. Snai is third. The Limiter in P4 with Beck in P5. Sangreaves in P6 with Goudet in P7. Millington P8. Stardog P9. Babloke P10. Wolfsky in 11th with Taylor in 12th. Williams in 13th with Struck in 14th place position. 15th is Tucker with 16th going away of Betterson. Richie in 17th place position with Saunders in 18th, Johnson in 19th, and Flemsby 1 in 20th. 21st is Argent with 22nd, Old Sim Racer. 23rd is Smith. 24th is Varga. Flores in 25th. With 26th going the way of DJ Phil. 27th is Best with Craig in 28th, Vernie 29th, Andrews in 30th, Cranky Darkhead 31st, Hicks in 32nd, and Efsky in 33rd, Lane in 34th, and Waste still to get off the mark. Regarding the teams, it is Greasy Bandits leading the way ahead of Cam Racing, 9 points separating those two, with Fat Bloke Racing in third. Stage 2 Motorsport in P4 with FSO Racing P5, SimPlay Racing P6 with P7 Mad Dog Motorsport Team. Tom is P8, while Team Molar is P9. P10 is a Richie Corsa team with P11 Cloud9 Racing. RB GT team in P12 with Road Runner Motors in 13th with I really hate this name. Quantum Motorsport in 14th with 15th Ball Busters Racing. 16th is TRC Audio Sport with 17th going Marbles Racing. And that is your championship standings. And yes, Hibbs is leading the way. So all you Hibbs fans in the chat, it's becoming a recurring thing that Hibbs seems to be the favourite. And Smith's had a big moment all on his own. And there goes Hibbs himself through the corner. And we will go on aboard with a driver. I think there is the 96. Where is the 96? 96, I believe it is Sam. I can't find the 96 for some daft reason. There it is, he's right at the top. And hopefully my nope, it's not going to give me him. We will find a driver who's coming to the end of a lap. We'll go on board with Robert Ramsell. In the Ferrari is Hibbs sets the pace of a 19.0. We're going to take a lap with Ramsell around this fantastic circuit at SPA-Francorchamps. Hibbs day 1 for P1, fingers crossed as a lot of drivers again supporting Hibbs as he head down towards turn number 1 on board. As he head down towards turn number 1 on board. Apologies for that, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, my PC or Xbox decides to completely shut down or do something wrong, and once again, it always seems to be a qualifying, something seems to go completely tits up. I don't know why, but we are back, we are live, and that time round it was the PlayStation decide not to want to stream no more. But I apologize if you heard any weird music or anything strange in the background, but we are back, we are live. I need to run an internet test, I think, to make sure that everything is running as smoothly as it is, because can't have been having this too many times. But John Goudet now leading the way at the moment for this qualifying session. Majority reckon that Hibbs is going to take pole position here, as I'll end that pole there. But it is John Goudet with the pace, and we are looking at Hibbs at the minute, who's into the final corner. He's got a little bit deep. I was trying to do a lap with a driver, and that has not worked out, so I'm going to just abandon that and just focus on the lap time. Hibbs goes P3 though. Stardog though looking good in P2 at the minute. Fernie gets P4 as Flem Speed 1 also looking to improve on his lap time. But the limiter, we need to keep an eye on him as well. He's not yet set a lap time with 5.5 minutes still left to go, and a lot of drivers still not set a lap time. Into the chicane, there you go, and Goudet with a comfortable gap. Well, I say comfortable, it's only a couple hundredths as Richie goes into P6. Flem Speed 1 improves to go to P4 as Benedict Varga, goes into P7. What is Richie going to do in a Lamborghini? There is a BMW coming behind. I believe that might be Sam or Fat Bloke. It is Sam, 6/10 off at the minute. No improvement. The 222 or 333, that is Snai. And no lap time on the board for him yet, and it is one of the Quantum cars, and it is best. No improvement for him either. The Bentley of Argent, 1.8 off the pace. John Goudet, meanwhile, has he extended the gap? No, he has not. He is just going to hang on to that position for the meantime. 747. That's right, I did see a 747, but I guess I'm seeing things. We'll stay on board with Beck, who is coming into the final sector now. Stardog goes fastest now with a 2:18.2 pro pace. We're looking at possibly in the 16s, 17s. So this is the pace of the Pro-Ams as here comes Steve Beck. What can he do? He goes into 11th place position. Meanwhile, in the background, I see a Ferrari that looks like Millington. It is, and Ramsell crosses the line. Both of them not improving on their lap times at this minute. And there is the 555. I believe that is Fat Bloke. He has improved, and where does that put him? He goes into P6. So Fat Bloke finding a little bit more pace. We look to the 31. That is... I literally just saw the 31. And I've lost the 31. Absolutely brilliant. My eyes clearly not wanting to work, so we'll go on board with Craig. Coming out of the final corner now. And what lap time is Craig going to produce? He's going to stay in 18th place position, so no improvement for him. Meanwhile, John Goudet, we need to keep on his lap time. He is currently a little bit off the pace as the limiter goes in P4, finally gets a lap time on the board. And Flem Speed 1 coming up behind him now. 3 minutes to go. What does Flem Speed do? He has no improvement, so he will stay where he is. The 333, that is Snai. Has he finally got a lap time on the board? It looks validated. If you see a blue dot, that means it's invalidated. If it's clear and grey, that means it is on a lap. That is looking good. To the line comes Snai, and puts him in 3rd place. So the Brands Hatch driver looking very good. Struggling to get some pace out of this car tonight. The 741, that is Stardog in the Ferrari, looking to improve his pace. Into the chicane he comes. Doing it for Mad Dog Motorsport. To the line he comes. Does he extend the gap? No, he does not. There is Wolfsky in the background. 9/10, so he puts it now into 5th, so he is now 3/10 off the pace. That's the 22 now of Star Rock coming to the line. 3.8 off the pace. He surely can do better than that. No improvement either for him. And we now look to the end of this qualifying session. All these guys will be starting at their final lap here. So who is going to pounce at this opportunity? Fat Bloke now in the final sector, and he's wanting to get out of the way of a McLaren, and that's possibly either Steve Beck or Williams. It is Williams. No improvement for him, so Fat Bloke allowing his good FBR friend through. Oh, John Goudet has a big wiggle. The number 3 is the next one that's on a lap. That is Craig. And to the line and to the chicane he goes. And what lap time is this going to be for Craig? No improvement for him. That is a Mustang. That is the old sim racer. No improvement for him either. We got a Porsche now. Is that the limiter? No improvement for him. He's still not hit the limit yet. Can he find that improvement? 22. That is Star Rock. He is not going to improve. Sorry, no, that was Richie, so he won't improve. He will stay 10th at the minute, but he will get one more lap in. Sam is on the back of the Lamborghini, gets on the curb a little bit, loses traction, down the back straight he goes. Any improvement? He goes into second, so the BMW find a little bit more pace. Wolfski is in the pits. It is Benedict Varga who goes into 11th place position. We now look to John Goudet. Has he managed to get himself around quick enough to give himself another lap? I think he will. John Goudet, 2/10 off the pace. No improvement, but he will have one more attempt at this. The 7-7. That's the 77 of Luke Saunders. No improvement for him. Stardog now to the line and improves on an 18-1. So Stardog setting the pace there. Going, right, boys, that's what you need to chase. Can you get it? 22, that has got to be Starrock now coming to the chicane. Sam's done. Sam's made a mistake, so he is done for this session. Here comes Starrock. Only 25th for him. Now, we look further back. Is that Williams or Beck? It is Beck, I believe, to the line, and he goes P2. Beck finding a little bit of improvement. Ramsell goes into P9. Some lap times improving here. As Snai is still on a lap. Who else is improving? We got the limiter on a lap as well. So no real big changes, no big moves at the minute. Goudet did manage to get the lap in, and he's going to be the last one to cross the line. The limiter, though, half a second off the pace. Has he found that time? Porsche, possibly not the strongest circuit for it. Loads of straights, a little bit slower in a straight line. He takes too much curb, he loses a bit of traction. He loses the grunt from the Porsche, and he's bailed, he's done. 32, that will be Richie, who is off. And then we just have a few cars left. Benedict Varga is on a lap by the looks of things. It did come up blue, so we're not sure if it's validated or not. Snai is on a lap, as is Goudet. So we'll see how these two do. So it's two BMWs and an Aston Martin to the very end here. Is Stardog going to hang on to his pole position? That is the question. Here comes Snai to, Benedict Varga, no improvement. He will stay 13th unless Snai improves and drops him down a position. Here he goes. He goes in 16th, and John Goudet was not on a better lap. So it's Stardog who takes pole position here from Beck, from Greaves, from Goudet. And that is your qualifying session done. And into the hour-long race we go. Oh. And breathe. As we are about to get underway for our feature race, 1 hour long race. A pit window will be opened. 10 minutes they will have to pit within that window, and they have to put at least 1 litre of fuel in the car. That will take up to 25 seconds. I know it seems ridiculous, but it's a mandatory stop. 25 seconds. 30 seconds if they choose to do a tyre change. If they choose to take the tyre change, then obviously that will add an additional 5 seconds to it. 5 seconds to change tyres, but for 1 litre of fuel with 25. Mad, isn't it? Either way, that tyre change is an extra 5 seconds on top. With that said, obviously these guys have to take into consideration that Benedict Varga says, please guys, watch out at the start, especially after the chaos of the last one. I'll do my best too, says Ben. But obviously, the way this guys work, we do have a drop score. So if this turns out to be their worst round, the drop score will be taken into effect and take that point away. Take the week's points away. And obviously, this will start to take more in effect later on in the season. If you like what you see here at SimPlay Motorsport and you do want to be a part of the action, then head over to the SimGrid and get yourself signed up on the SimGrid. As you sign up on the SimGrid, you'll be asked and required to do a hot stint in our hot stint server. Within the hot stint server, it will be 6 consecutive laps around Barcelona, and you'll do all the information you need once you join the Discord, and from there, it will give you all the information that you need to know. Once you are then signed up and agree to our rules and regulations, we will then be able to put you into the correct category. Obviously, we are always looking for extra pair of hands here at the league. We've got a couple of new commentators this season. We've got a couple of new stewards. But like I said, this league is growing and growing and growing. If you do want to be a part of the community and help out with the channel, then feel free to have a message or to myself or any admin members, Mike Matthews, Matthew Duffin or John Goudet, and make sure that you say which bit you want to help out. And there's also the job application form in the Discord as well. Reminder, you're not getting paid for it. It is voluntary. It is like a club as such, or a community. And like I said, we aren't able to go racing and do these things without the community helping us out. For the Pro-Am drivers, obviously tickets will be open and available for you straight after the race, and it is open for 24 hours. GT4's, the ticket system is now closed for you. That is it. You put a ticket in, it will not count. So you've had your 24 hours, you had your chance, and now it is going to be open to the Pro-Am boys. Obviously, there's still more action to come this week. Obviously, the Pro-Ams are going to do their hour-long race, but tomorrow night it is going to be sweet and sticky in your box. That is Matthew Duffin and Kelly Davis bringing you the actions, as the pros will be hitting the circuit tomorrow night. What weather have they got forecast tomorrow? Who knows? It's been quite overcast this week, so maybe they'll have a bit of overcast. Maybe we'll have the beautiful sunshines. Who knows? But join Kelly Davis and Matthew Duffin, all the action for the pros, as I'll be hitting this circuit tomorrow night with the rest of the pro drivers as well. But like I keep saying, guys, hit that like button, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel and hit that bell to be notified so you do not miss any of the action here at SimPlay Motorsport. As we're halfway through the grid, let's have a run through the starting order for the fourth race and the second round of the season. It is Stardog on pole position ahead of Beck, ahead of Greaves, ahead of John Goudet. Hibbs is going to start in that fifth place position with Wolski starting alongside him. Delimiter in P7 with Old Sim Racer Flemsby 1, two teammates starting one another. Ramsdell in 9th and Fernie in 10th. That bloke in 11th with Richie in 12th. Benedict Varga 13th with Williams in 14th. Millington 15th with Snai in 16th place position. Looked so good at Brands. Seems to be struggling here at Spa. Saunders in 17th with Old Sim Racer in 8th. Craig in 19th. With Flores in 20th, Argent 21st, Tucker 22nd, Smith 23rd, and Betterson 24th, Hicks in 25th, Struck in 26th, with Taylor 27th, Best 28th, DJ Phil 29th, Cranky Duckhead 30th, and Johnson at the back of the pack, as he usually does for the qualifying session, likes to start at the back. And obviously, if you like the action here at the SPA-Francorchamps, we will be live again next week for the first race of our American tour, as we go to an Indianapolis for the I think it's been a while. We've missed the season of Indianapolis. I think it was possibly, yeah, we've missed 2 seasons of Indianapolis, and we finally returned back to the Brickyard for the third round of the season. So that should be interesting to see how those get on. An American version of Monza, a little bit more tight, twisty corners to deal with. But we see how most of these guys will get on. But it is Ferrari versus McLaren on the front row, and obviously still yet to go as we go around this circuit. But also mentioning the 24 hours of the Nordschleife is off fun event after this season. Obviously not just a challenge on its own to take on the Nürburgring Nordschleife challenge. It is also us tackling the horrible threat of cancer, and all of us as a community with FBR and SimPlay Motorsport combining together to come up with this event. We want as many drivers, as many donations as we possibly can, and try and give as much as we can to cancer research and try and stop this horrible killer that lives among us every single day. Can we take on the challenge as everyone else takes on the challenge in real life? That is the question. So please get yourselves ready and signed up for that one. But we're about to get underway here for the feature race this evening. Ferrari versus McLaren. Stardog versus Beck. Beck's got a win to his name. Can McLaren take 4 from 4, or is Ferrari going to stop him? God, sounds like the new Formula 1 season, doesn't it? But nonetheless, before that season starts, it is all about SimPlay Motorsport. Live right here on YouTube. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel as we wait for the green here for the second time at Spa.
Green light, give it
We are green and go here at Spa-Francorchamps. And Beck and Stardog go side by side up the hill, and Beck gets the jump as the all crew over the hill. Have they all managed to survive this time round? Looks like they have, as they all take a more cautious approach up the hill, and it seems like we've all managed to survive the first couple of corners here at Spa-Francorchamps, and it is green and go. Meanwhile, John Goudet had the nose chopped off by Stardog, but it is Beck leading from Sam as the two FPR duo lead them away at the start of this race. John Goudet with a decent start though in the Aston Martin, looking to pressurise onto the back of the leaders, but the Porsche's Flemsby 1 managing to jump his teammate the limiter as they are now working through the order. Hibbs has dropped down to 7th. He's not had the best of start here. He's not got a good way to start this race, but he is on the back of his teammate. So hopefully he can go with him through this order. Any other troubles? Everyone pretty much clean through the first half of this lap. Any other fights going on as it's all even spread at the minute, but Johnson now looking to make a move on best as he heads towards Pouan, but he's not far enough alongside. And there we see all the drivers, like I said, managing to survive this one as Ramsell goes up the inside of the limiter. He's on the curb, he gets a little bit squirrely on the exit, and the limiter will hold on to that position, but Ramsell's going to hold it strong on the outside. He's then going to have the inside for the next corner, and they're going to be very, very close to one another, and the limiter goes wide. Ramsell gains the position, and up the inside goes Fernie as well. So limiter went on the attack and now on the defence as Fat Bloke goes very wide as he's now onto the back of Benedict Vargo. Down towards the fast swooping right-hander, side by side, the two BMWs, Fat Bloke versus Vargo. Around the outside goes Fat Bloke. Is the job done? Oh, he's gone round. He's gone round. Where is Ben? No, Ben's gone off. He's made contact with Fat Bloke, I think. And there we go, the first incident, and it is Fat Bloke and Ben who has come together, and Ben's hit somebody else. Who's he hit this time? I believe he's hit possibly Tucker. As they get whoa, has someone else gone round? Yes, it's Luke Saunders. He's facing the wrong way round. Nearly a full clean lap, and it didn't quite get there to the very end, but it is Beck leading away from Greaves, ahead of Stardog, ahead of Goudet, ahead of Hibbs. Wolfsky in that 6th place, being hunted down by Flemspeed. Ramsell in 8th, Fernie in 9th, and Limiter 10th. He's now got pressure up on the Lamborghini of Ritchie. Ritchie now coming up to the end of the long straight. Is he going to look to make a move on the limiter? He's not quite close enough. Meanwhile, Stardog has cleared Hibbs. So Hibbs losing a position. Goudet has made a position there on Stardog. So John Goudet up into the podium positions here. Now can he use that Aston Martin consistency and pull away from the guys behind? Limiter now pulling away from the Lamborghini. Meanwhile, Williams is just been passed by Millington by the listening, so Williams in a little bit of strife here as he's got Old Sim Racer and Sny right behind him. So Beck pulling away at the minute. What else is happening further down the pack? Cranky Duckhead up into 21st. He's at a Struck and Best in 23rd. DJ Phil 24th. Tucker dropped down the Johnson as well. Varga Argent obviously dropping down the order. Has he made contact with someone and has allowed them through? Saunders at the back and Flores has got going as well. Where did Fat Bloke in the end? He is in 19th place position. He's got a little bit of damage from the front end after he walloped the wall earlier on. But Stardog losing the lead of the race and dropping outside the podium points now as Beck and Greaves for the FBR pull away. It is now Hibbs looking to make the attack and a move on to Stardog. And I forgot to do a feature race winner, so I will get that up now. Stardog looking to give Goudet a bit of a hard time here. And looking for an opportunity to work his way past the Aston Martin. Robert Ramsell setting fastest lap of the race. A little bit of clean air, but Beck obviously not having the overall raw pace at this stage. And right now, Robert Ramsell right onto the back of the Porsche. Hibbs there looking to possibly make a move on the inside of the Ferrari, but not quite close enough. Meanwhile, Beck and Sam doing what they need to do and pull away from this pack. They're going to use each other to try and extend their gap on Goudet. Dirty air really going to start affecting these cars. If you don't agree with who I put in the chat, then feel free to write it in the chat. As Wolfsky now onto the back of Hibbs. He's looking around as Ramsell's already done Flem speed by the looks of things. As I thought I saw a bit of kerfuffle further back. Nope, it is all fair and clean so far, and as Prack spread a little bit, his best is facing the wrong way as he's going to get himself going once again. Who else is off? It's Tucker. Tucker's off as well. Fat Bloke is into the pits, obviously with a significant amount of damage. He's opted to pit. And there is Benedict Varga. He's got Saunders right in front of him. And now Argent's onto the back of DJ Phil. But Beck at the minute in control of this race. McLaren, can he make him 4 from 4? Goudet though, Sam and Stardog are all going to be wanting to make sure that does not happen. But Stardog at the minute can't find a way past on the Aston Martin, and the top 7 at the minute all still in contention, as is Flem Speed 1, so top 8. Fernie just dropping off the back a little bit. He has been caught by the limiter though, so this could be spicy between them. Millington trying to pull away from Williams and Snipe, but they're going with him, as is Robert Ramsell. Bettison in 16th, and someone is dropping down the order. That is the cranky Duckhead. He's had another moment. He's got significant damage to the front end of that McLaren, and he has managed to get it going once again. But once again, Hibbs is looking to go on the attack of the Ferrari of Stardog. As they head down to Eau Rouge Radion. Up the hill they go. Wolfsky now setting fastest lap of the race and pulling away from Ramsell. As they're all in a little bit, well, I was going to say a DRS train. Oh, as Goudet's made a mistake. I thought I saw him have a snap. And Stardog's going to be on the attack now. He's on the back of him. He's on the outside of him. Is he going to get the job done? He's going to still stay on the outside. He's going to try and muscle his way around. And he's got in front. So John Goudet, after a great start, has lost the 3rd place position. It's all concertinaing up, and it's going to go 3 wide. Hibbs is now looking to the inside. This is not going to be clever from him, as Goudet still on the outside of Pouon. And he was always going to lose that position through there, as Hibbs now goes through as well. Wolfsky in there, and Ramsell. Oh, close. Oh, Wolfsky and Ramsell's come together. Wolfsky a little bit of damage, but he's managed to get himself going again as he falls in behind, or next to Richie. Mirko, oh, and he's gone off. How he's not hit that wall harder, I do not know, but he has gone off. He's dropped down the order. And a mistake made there. So now Beck and Sam are pulling away and doing what they need to do. They're not fighting at the minute. They're just working as a team to get themselves away from the rest of the pack. And now Stardog under pressure once again from Hibbs. And Goudet's just dropped off. Hibbs there going wide. Possibly a track limits warning there. Or very, very close to it nonetheless. But either way, Hibbs right onto the back of the Ferrari of Stardog, and as these laps keep going through, they're losing more and more time to the leaders. Now Robert Ramsell is attacking John Goudet. Greasy Bandits Racing going against Cam Racing, and Robert Ramsell down the inside gets the job done on a position gain for him. Sam now sets fastest lap of the race. Flem Speed, Fernie are all now in this fight. The limiter has now joined them, as Millington's now caught Richie. Up Eau Rouge and Radion, there you go. And Richie still trying to pull away from Millington, got a little bit of a gap. Snipe, meanwhile, keeping his nose clean, had to get himself up into 12th place position. Meanwhile, Stardog has gained a little bit on Hibbs through the first sector. Robert Ramsell now getting a little bit of pressure on the back of the McLaren. And has John Goudet just overcooked those tyres already at the start of this race? Yes, I know it's the early part of this race, but you can still overheat them and build up tyre temperature. Oh! Fernie and Flemspeed have come together, and Fernie is going to get going. Has Fernie allowed him through? I'm not sure what happened there, so I don't know if it was contact between Fernie, but they've dropped behind the limiter. And who else they've dropped behind? They've dropped down quite a few, actually. They've dropped behind old Sim Racer, so yeah, not a good coming together there for those guys. But again, Beck and Greaves just holding on to that gap that is 3.8 at the minute. Stardog does get a little bit closer this lap, I think. It was 3.8. What is the gap now? It is 2.7, so Stardog gaining on Sam. Sam losing touch to Beck at this stage. Hibbs, though, onto the back of him and going to keep him pressured all the way. He's in the tow, he's in the slipstream. The McLaren very good in the downforce, very good cribby car, and he's got the Ferrari in sight. But he's not quite close enough this time round. He either needs to put Stardog under a little bit of pressure and make a mistake. Any other fights going on at the minute. Snai is now onto the back of Millington. As also we've got Smith and Hicks going at it. Hicks going around the outside. That's going to be a brave move if he gets the job done. He's not. They're going to go side by side up towards the chicane. They go. Wolfsky and Johnson are both in the pits. And Hicks is going to be later on the brace. He goes deep. He'll be on the inside for the next part of the corner, and he makes contact with Smith and gives him a little nudge round and he straightens him back up, and Hicks losing out there, and through goes Argent and Struck as well. Hibbs, meanwhile, 4/10 behind. He is right on the rear wing of the Ferrari. This has been his closest attempt yet. 1.1 is the gap between Greaves and Beck, and Hibbs around the outside of the first section and gets up the inside, so Hibbs now into the top three. Question is now, what can he do about the leaders? He's finally cleared that Ferrari. Can he do anything about Sam and Steve at front? Ramsell wants to have a go at Stardog now. Stardog with fastest lap of the race to his name, but he has lost the position. So that fastest lap, yes, it gains him a point, but he loses more points by losing positions. Millington was onto the back of Ritchie, but that gap's dropped down. He's now under pressure from Snai instead. Flemspeed 1 has passed Leon Fernie. Like I said, Beck leading the way on Greaves. 1.3. Hibbs has now been released. What can he do? 3.2 is the gap, so he needs a little bit of time, a little bit of work to try and get back onto the leaders. Limiter now onto John Goudet, who looked very good at the start of this race, but it's just dropped off here. The pace of the Aston looks like it's just faded away ever so slightly. And once again, Snai is onto the back of Millington. And Millington holding his line, holding his position. Snai waiting for that right time, that right opportunity. He's had a great run through the fast-flowing left-handers, but he's not quite close enough. And Millington goes on the attack of Ritchie. So Millington went to defending to attacking, and he's gone around the outside of him. And contact is made between Ritchie and Millington losing out. Tips in the chat saying, great racing between the guys at the front. It has been brilliant stuff. Hibbs has now been released and dropped Ramsell, who's now got past Stardog. So Stardog, although he put in a great qualifying time, he is struggling at this stage and is not able to go with the guys in front. A bit like Goudet was very quick at the beginning and just seems to have faded off ever so slightly. Ritchie now losing out to Snai. Snai back up a position, and now Williams is on the attack of Ritchie. Millington trying to get onto the back of this pack. And through the S's they go. Paul Williams not close enough to really do any damage to the Lamborghini in front. back to the front now. Beck and Sam are quite close to one another, actually. So either Beck has made a mistake or Greaves has had just a really good lap here, but they pulled away from Hibbs. Hibbs is struggling to get onto the back of their pace at the minute. You can see the McLaren in the background. So what can he do? Stardog, meanwhile, is coming back on the attack of Ramsell, but he's not quite close enough at this stage. Probably gone a little bit wide there. Ramsell with a better run by the looks of things, and will extend that gap. Then we have this group of cars, McLaren versus Lamborghini here, as Williams tries to get a good run through the right-hander, and Ritchie has gone wide. And he's going to be under some pressure here. The McLaren right behind him. Also, that mighty Mustang, very fast in a straight line. That is old sim racer. He's looking quite quick himself. He's on the back of these two. Will Williams try and outbrake the Lamborghini? Oh, he's missed his brakes. He's going to have to release them. And Ritchie looks like he was moving there, under braking. And old sim racer gets through, as will Millington. Cheeky move there from Millington as Ritchie's gone round. And old sim racer goes through, as does Millington and Flem Speed 1. Who else gets through? Fernie, Betterson, Taylor, not quite Argent, Ritchie losing out to all those cars. As it's still back from Greaves, and they're still managing to maintain that gap to Hibbs. Hibbs, with the clean air, hasn't been able to really do anything. Meanwhile, Goudet has got the limiter breathing down his neck. The Porsche looking to the outside, not as good in a straight line, but a bit better in the brakes than the Aston. No way through for the Porsche driver that time round. And there we don't see the Mustang driving past the Ferrari. The Porsche just able to stick in the slipstream there with Flem Speed 1. Leon Fernie gets ahead of Betterson there, as Michael has ended up in the pits and is back out and a lap down. And now we're starting to see Hibbs' pace come alive. 2.9 is the gap. And Sam is now on the back of Beck. He's probably getting to the point now, right, we've made the gap, now you need to get on with it, mate. We need to pull even further because a very, very fast McLaren is on his way. Through the final sector they go. Sam not doing anything at this minute, and looks like Hibbs lost a little bit of time that time round. 2.7 is the gap. Who's got fastest lap of the race so far? That will be Fat Bloke, so he's got the purple lap at this minute. 2/10 separating the leaders, and 2.6, so Hibbs did gain a 10th there as Ramsell's pulling away from Stardog. Goudet, meanwhile, has got the limiter still breathing down his neck. Oh, as we see there, old sim racer has to skip the chicane. Flem Speed 1 is right behind him. Flem is going to get the position by the looks of things. They're still side by side into the braking turn 1. Tip saying in the chat, old sim racer doing his usual, quietly having places in the feature race. Yes, he is. But right now he's fighting a Porsche. Now, this is where we should see the significant damage between straight line. Porsche, one of the slowest. Mustang, one of the fastest. But old sim racer had a poor exit. He had a poor run through there, and it's not going to be enough. As we go down the back straight, the Porsche is going to hang in there. So it's key to get that good exit out of turn number 1 and through Eau Rouge and Radion, so that you're able to attack then the car in front. And as you can see there, the Porsche is safe. Millington now has passed Williams while we've been watching that. Williams having a much better feature race than he did the sprint. And Fernie has pulled away from Betterson. He's now under pressure from Taylor and Ritchie. And other fights going on at the minute. Luke Saunders is caught up to Argent. We got Hicks onto the back of Struck as well. So all fights happening up and down the order. But it is Beck versus Greaves at the front. as we're starting to come towards the halfway stage of this race, and Hibbs has put a massive dent in the leaders. 1.9 now, so the leaders are starting to fight. Well, Hibbs is starting to put the pressure on them. Limiter not able to do anything to Goudet at the minute. Snide kind of in no man's land at the minute, and Millington ahead of Williams. Old Sim Racer once again onto the back of the Porsche of Flem Speed 1, but instead Flem Speed is on the attack of Williams. So Williams seems a little bit wounded here. He's not got damage or anything, but he just seems to be struggling at this stage. The cars around him much faster, and he's going to have to defend. Flem Speed doesn't know where he's going, left or right. He goes to the outside, and Williams just gives him enough of car space and then runs them wide. And once again, Old Sim Racer goes wide as well. So really pushing it to the limits here. Taylor looking onto the back of Betterson, and Ritchie right behind them, but nowhere through there as Hicks goes a little bit wide as the Strock, and they are going to maintain their positions. But the through go the leaders, and you can see the gap has extended between Beck and Greaves. 9/10 of a second, 8/10 of a second, so the gap came down a 10th. Hibbs matching them through that sector. Ramsell seems to have Stardog in position, and again, same with Goudet. Seems to have Limiter covered off at the minute, so kind of a everyone at a position where they can't really do anything to the cars in front. Meanwhile, Flem Speed looks like he's had a great run through Eau Rouge and Radeon, but the Porsche not strong enough in a straight line, struggles to get near the McLaren. So we'll have to try and force him to make a mistake. Down to the tricky downhill right-hander, they go into No Name. As Flem Speed 1 pushing as hard as he can to find a move on this McLaren. Meanwhile, Taylor, I think, is fighting Betterson. He's got past Betterson, so Taylor up a position, and Hicks once again losing out to Strock. Strock's pulling away now, as once again Beck and Greaves matching one another, and Hibbs matching them, so he's not been able to gain anything. Lost the 10th that lap, and Limiter once again can't get onto the back of John Goudet. But this is your closest fight on track. It is Flem Speed 1 versus Williams. And through the S's they go, down towards the back end of the circuit. Once again, the Porsche will be hitting its top speed right now, but much better in the corners. But it's not enough. He's gone a little bit loose by the looks of things and can't capitalize either. Trying to be later on the brakes than Williams. He looks up the inside. Williams gives him room. But once again, Williams will have the inside for the next part of the corner. And Old Sim Racer gets a little bit closer again. A bit of a stalemate here between these three. Oh, as Flem thinks about it into turn number 1, the door opens, he releases the brake, and up the inside he goes. Williams losing a position to Flem Speed 1 there, and now he's also going to be capitalised to Old Sim Racer. But once again, Flem Speed, he needed to do it in a hairpin corner. He's done it in a hairpin corner, but his straight line is going to be his downfall. Williams, though, not a great run through Eau Rouge and Radeon, and he is now under pressure from Old Sim Racer. Old Sim Racer looking to the inside of the right-hander. And through he goes. Paul Williams losing another position. Or as Old Sim Racer just keeps the position. Great racing, go Old Sim Racer, says Andrew Aberdeen in the chat. Through the downhill, there you go, and Williams will want to try and get that position back. Meanwhile, Beck, 3/10 is the gap, but there is Hibbs. Hibbs has joined them. Hibbs has now joined the leader, so it's turned from a 2-horse race to a 3-horse race now. So, Sam, you've been the one putting the pressure on. Can you now deliver as Williams has pulled back from the leader? But Beck now, can he start to just creep away? Hibbs, this would be the great opportunity. These guys are going to be battling it out. Beck straight into the pits. So Beck thinking he needs to clean air. Now, the fuel strategy, that is the question. What have they chosen? Are they going to change tyres? That's another question on their mind as well. Anyone else into the pits? Goudet into the pits as the limiter also comes in. Now, a lot of these guys will be looking at the track map. They will have the entire track map open to them if they choose to have that option, and they'll be able to see where the gaps are. And if they paid attention to the sprint, they would have known where they would have fallen out once they pitted. But the gaps are evenly spread. So Hibbs now. Swiss Sam just going to play a little bit of a game there and hold Hibbs up as much as they possibly can. Ramsell needs to start putting his foot down and gain on the leaders, and Stardog needs to go with him. Right now, Sam is now leading this race ahead of Hibbs. A lot of cars in the pit, so also that is going to help out massively to Beck, because he ain't going to have any cars in the way. Fat Bloke has been in the pits again, and obviously he's doing his stop now. But Hibbs there looking like he's lost a little bit of time to the BMW. They have got a lap car ahead of them. I believe that is the 13 of the Cranky Duckhead. And he's getting right out of the way. And Robert Ramsell now coming back under pressure once again from Stardog. Obviously now the positions are updating due to pit stops. Or Ramsell had a slide in the background there. Stardog onto the back of him. Beck and Goudet have both gone green. There they go. Beck at the further end of the pit lane. Goudet also going green. Has he changed tyres? That's the question. A lot of them are possibly thinking not choosing to do so. Maybe sticking with their tyre sets. But Greaves pulled away from Hibbs there. Is this now the time to pit? Everyone else is in the pits. What does Sam does? He stays out. Hibbs stays out as well. So interesting call there. Ramsell stays out and so does Stardog. So everyone's kind of just following each other. It's Betterson's in the wall. Betterson's made a mistake. He's ended up in the wall. Side damage to his car. How much damage has that done to the car? That is the question, as Sam is trying to pull a gap on Hibbs. Meanwhile, Stardog is back onto the rear wing of Ramsell. And up the hill they go. Benedict Vargas says, I drove with a broken steering for half an hour. That's new, lol, as he's clearly struggling with some form of car damage by the looks of things. And through the S's they go. And Betterson pits as does Saunders, and Flores continues on through. So we got a bit of a separation of cars here. There's a yellow flag. That is Millington. He's had a moment at Eau Rouge and Radion, and he's managed to get it going once again. How big a damage to the car has he got? That's the question. It looks okay, not too badly damaged, not too wounded. So he's managed to get going once again. But Sam now extending that gap to 1.1. So we should see where this all pans out then for him, as Beck with the possible clean air. No, he's got traffic ahead of him. Who is the traffic? It is the 79, and that is Best. So he's got to try and clear Best as quickly as he can. The 557 has got a stop and go. That is Benedict Vargo for speeding in the pit lane. Your steering's not going to help you there now, Ben. So now your leaders coming to the far end of the circuit, coming to the pit lane. Are they going to opt to pit this lap? That's the question. So while the two in front are continuing on, if Beck has chosen to change tyres, he needs to use these 2 laps to extend that gap as much as he can with the fresh tyres, if he's chose to do that. Greaves into the pits, Hibbs stays out. So Has Hibbs now going to use that clean air? The dirty air seems to affect the McLaren quite badly. So we'll see if that is the right call. Snai stays on through, and so does Flores, still yet to come round. Any other fights going on at the minute? Argent fighting Fernie. And looks like Argent trying to find a way past on the McLaren. And at the minute, Argent can't do nothing to the McLaren. This is your only fight on the circuit at the minute. I lie, there is Taylor and Ritchie. They're quite close together. Andrew Taylor having a better race here. Currently 15th at the minute. Trying to catch Ritchie. But he's not quite close enough to him at the minute. Sam Greaves, though, in pit lane. Where is Beck? There he is. He's at the far end of the circuit. Greaves now coming to his box. And this is the crazy thing about Spa-Francorchamps. It's got such a long pit lane. It's going to take a while for them to get around. And Steve Beck using his tyres to good effect here, trying to pull away from Goudet. The limiter also just a little bit further back from John Goudet. So, where is Greaves? There he is. And when is Beck going to get past him? That is the question. Has he used this time well? If he's jumped him here or stayed ahead of him, then obviously that was the plan, that was the strategy. Sam has gone green and Beck is down the main straight. And Sam will lead this race. Sam will continue on leading in this race. Where is Beck? He's coming up Eau Rouge and Radion. And it is Sam now leading the way. He's the net leader, but what has Hibbs done in the lead? This means Ramsell is possibly in that window as Hibbs now finally pits. Is Ramsell going to pit? Yes, he is. It's too tight to call, especially for the rest of these guys, so they should be pitting now as we are past the halfway stage. I'm going to end the poll there. A majority reckon that John Goudet is going to win this one. At this rate, I don't think he is. So Snai into the pits. He was not going to get around again. Millington will have to pit, and so will Flores. Anyone else to stop? The Duckhead is in. And Wolski's into the pits as well. So Sam takes the lead of the race. Excuse me. But Goudet has now got Stardog breathing down his neck. So I believe Robert Ramsell and Stardog was ahead of Goudet. So Goudet's jumped those guys. And the limiter is nowhere near. So these guys possibly changed tyres and Goudet maybe hasn't. Who knows? We'll have to see towards the end of the race what their tyre situation will be, who's going to be struggling and who's not. But Sam coming into the final few corners here as Hibbs is in his box. Ramsell is now coming to his box. So they've only just got to those boxes. So we'll see where this all pans out. Any other fights happening at the minute? Fernie and Argent's cleared Ramy Fernie. And John Goudet and Stardog 8th and 9th. So Sam goes into turn number 1, and this is where we said that Beck was coming. And Hibbs has come off the limiter. He's going up the hill. There is Fat Bloke. It is not Sam. And Hibbs is off the limiter. And he now leads this race. So McLaren are back in control of this race. Fat Bloke goes through. And there's Sam. So Hibbs, using the clean air, has worked brilliantly to his advantage. And he now leads this race. Robert Ramsell, meanwhile, comes out right behind Beck. So Ramsell with a great strategy there. He's now worked his way up into that 4th place position. Can he try and steal that podium position? John Goudet 5th. Stardog 6th in the end. Snai in the 8th place, I believe. Yes, because limiter has gone through. So Snai in 8th. Good recovery from him. Millington goes through. But Flemsby 1 is past him, as is Williams, as is old Sim Racer. So will Richie. So will Taylor. I think it's going to be close to him, actually. So Millington and Taylor going at it. Millington to the inside, Taylor to the outside. Fresh hot tyres for Taylor, and he was already got the job done for him. So Millington having to work his way back past Taylor again. So you're not confused, that is Fat Bloke leading this group of cars, but he is not the race leader. It is this man. Hibbs is leading the way. As Benedict Varga says that's going to be his drop score as he finally clears his stop and go. And there is Greaves in second place, Beck in third, and Ramsdell going to try and fight him right to the very end. Can we have 3 different manufacturers on the podium? That's the question. And Stardog once again putting some more pressure on the back of Goudet. Millington's under pressure from Betson, so we've got a 3-way fight here for 13th, 14th and 16th. Fernie's now trying to catch back onto Argent, but that's not happening. Varga and Wolfsky are going at it. But there is Stardog pretty much pushing John Goudet towards turn number 1. And this is where we see how good a run he will have up Eau Rouge and Radion. But Hibbs taking his time, being patient, letting the race come to him, and it's paid him off. At the minute he leads this race. So here is Stardog still looking for an opportunity to come through. Sam meanwhile is coming back at Hibbs. So that gap was 2 seconds. The gap's come down. Old Sim Racer is in the pits. Possible more damage to his car. And Fernie is back on Argent once again. Oh, Millington is on Taylor. So if Millington has a great run through Eau Rouge and Radion, we could be seeing game on here. Millington just trying to push the limits a little bit more. Taylor just staying within track limits as much as he dared. Millington's in the slipstream, but I don't think he's close enough. He's going to look up the inside. He's going to try. But he's not close enough to make the job done. Stardog, meanwhile, still putting more pressure on the back of Goudet. And Fernie and Argent also still going. No real opportunity for him there. Stardog really pressurising the back of Goudet now. Oh, and John Goudet trying to hang in there as best he can. Obviously Sam's gaps come down to 1.5. He is catching Hibbs. So possibly Fat Bloke's B&W helping with the dirty end, making the McLaren struggle a little bit. Stardog trying to outbrake John Goudet, and he can't quite do it. 105 for track limits. That is Smith. He has pushed the limits one too far and has got a penalty to his name. Fernie and Argent still going at it as Taylor and Millington seems to have eased off as Betterson now is onto the back of them. Hibbs though, 1.7 to Sam. Sam's been chasing the McLaren pretty much all night long. Beck has got no answer to the leaders. If anything, he's now starting to become under pressure from Ramsdell. And Stardog once again try and get into that toe. Get a great run through Eau Rouge and Radion, which he's had. John Goudet's made a mistake through there, and Stardog had to touch the brakes because he got so close to the back of Goudet, couldn't turn quickly enough, and had to bail out. Stardog looking up the inside of the right-hander, but he can't get the job done. So Goudet holds on to that position as Hibbs leads Greaves. Beck trying to pull away from Ramsdell. Here comes Millington once again onto the back of Taylor. And Taylor smooth as you like through the S's. Now Betterson is on the back of him as well. Stardog hasn't got past John Goudet. We go back to this fight, and has Millington finally got enough of a gap? Oh, he makes contact with Taylor. Millington goes round Betterson. Is he going to capitalise on all this? Yes, he is, and through he goes. But Taylor's going to come back up the inside, 63. That is old Sim Racer. So he sets his drive through, or he's been speeding in the pit lane. So now he loses the time. Meanwhile, Hibbs has caught up to, has lost time to Sam Greaves, and Greaves is onto the back of him. As Jamal Clouden says in the chat, let's go Hibbs, and Hibbs now got it all to do because he's got Greaves hunting him down. The gap is 1.1. Has it extended? No, it's stayed the same, so he's safe for now, but he's going to be starting to come under some pressure. Stardog, meanwhile, is still being held up by John Goudet, who the limiter now, fastest lap of the race to his name, is on the back of these two. Betterson clearing Taylor, or no, sorry, Taylor has cleared Betterson once again, and Millington working his way onto the back of them. As Argent's now onto the back of Saunders. As Ramy Fernie struck down the order, Luke Saunders goes wide, and here goes Argent around the inside, then on the outside, and through he goes, and there is Millington just ahead of him. So Argent slowly working his way back up the order. Beck's in the pits! Why is Beck in the pits? I'm not sure why he is in pit lane, but he is. There's a car off. Is that Ramsell? Yes, it's Ramsell! He's in the wall! Has Beck and Ramsell come together? John Goudet's in the podium positions! Tips in the chat saying all gone pear-shaped for Team Tom. Yes, it has. But it's even got more pear-shape for Ramsell and Beck. Both in pit lane. Sam, meanwhile, 9/10 behind the back of the McLaren of Hibbs. As Goudet now also trying still to defend off Stardog, but he's got another threat as well. Betterson, Millington all going at it. Taylor defending from Betterson. Millington's going to be under pressure from Argent. Argent working his way possibly to a top 10. Taylor is in the top 10 at the minute. Oh, Stardog couldn't be any closer to the back of John Goudet if he tried. Drama to the end of this race. And through the bus stop chicane they go, and Stardog looking up the inside of Goudet. He can't get the job done. Goudet holds on to the position, the limiter right there, trying to push these two to the limit. And through 2-1 they go, and once again John Goudet just holding on to that position. Meanwhile, Hibbs is under pressure once again from the BMW of Sam. He is hunting him down. Through the S's they go. Oh, Stardog has a bit of a moment through there. That's going to allow Goudet a little bit of breathing room. Ramy Fernie now gets a drive through as well. John Goudet holds on to the position. Betterson holding off the threat from behind and is trying to attack Taylor. Meanwhile, Argent is now attacking Millington. Drive through for Fernie, so when does he choose to take it? Smith is back into the pits once again. An old sim racer in to stop, do his stop and go, stick in there, says Hibbs. Says his ongoing list of fans in the chat. But if John Goudet can hold on this long against Stardog, hopefully Hibbs can hold on to the lead of this race against Sam. But Sam is going to make it a heck of a hard work for him. Stardog still can't find a way through, and John Goudet nearly makes contact to the back of the Aston Martin. Archie gets onto the back of Millington. He's not quite close enough to do anything there. Taylor has lost out to Bettison. Bettison has cleared him. Potentially a Mustang involving Beck and Ramsell, says Harris. That's interesting to know. But here's Sam. 410 separate the top two. Sam has got time. Hibbs goes a little bit deep, but Sam has got time, but he does not want to spend too long behind the McLaren, because Hibbs will learn his moves. Hibbs will learn his attack and his weaknesses and his strengths. So the longer that Sam takes, the more and more Hibbs will learn. Aaron in the chat saying, let's go, Stardog. Brilliant driving from Stardog and Goudet. They've been brilliant from the start of this race, and they've been clean as well. Stardog hunting the back of that Aston Martin, but still can't find a way through. Has Sam had a great run through Rouge and Radion? Yes, he has. He's had a great run. Hibbs has to go to the outside. He has to take the racing line to the inside. Sam takes the lead back from Hibbs. But can he hold on? Sam leads the feature race. He stops the McLaren dominance. The 77, that's Luke Saunders, track limits. Meanwhile, John Goudet's dropped behind Stardog and Limiter. So John Goudet is off the podium positions. Hibbs loses the lead of this race. He's still got 13 minutes, so he needs to just get back into the groove. Another driver with a drive-through, the 63. Oh, old sim racer, stop and go still to serve. But John Goudet losing out to Millington. Sorry, not Millington, to Limiter and Stardog now. So John Goudet, all the work to do. And all the fights seem to have now eased off. No, Flores is now onto the back of Starrock. Struck as they go up the hill. Flores in the slipstream. He goes to the inside to get past the McLaren. The McLaren goes to defend. Up to the braking zone they go, and the McLaren holds on to the position. Flores can't find a way through in the S's. Meanwhile, Goudet is still onto the back of the Limiter and pushing his limits is Goudet. He's ran wide. Hibbs is sticking with Sam though, so Sam's not getting away at this stage. Struck meanwhile still ahead of Flores. It has been non-stop action. And Flores at this stage still can't find a way through on the McLaren. Hibbs is now losing touch to Sam, who is leading the way. John Goudet still trying to put pressure on the Limiter. Gary 131 or 313 as he's now known as. In the chat saying, evening lads, how's it going? We've had a massive crash in race 1 which pretty much took half the pack out, and in race 2 we've had some brilliant racing, close wheel-to-wheel action, but it is Sam who's leading the way with 10 minutes left to go. Hibbs is in second, and third is Stardog. Fourth is the Limiter and fastest lap, and he's catching Stardog now. And he's bringing Goudet with him. He's in 5th place position. Snai is in 6th, with Flemsby 1 in 7th, Williams in 8th, Ritchie in 9th, and Bettison rounding out the top 10. SimPlay Racing of Andrew Taylor is in 11th, ahead of Millington in 12th, Argent in 13th, and hunting him down. Luke Saunders is now out of that 14th place position as he's got a drive-through, so Struck will move up, as will Flores. Bernie's in for his drive-through as Craig goes through, Tucker goes through, 20 position is DJ Phil, Fat Bloke in 21st, Beck in 22nd, and Wolfsky in 23rd, Varga in 24th, with Ramsell 25th, Hicks in 26th, with Smith 27th, Best 28th, 29th is the Cranky Duckhead, and 30th is Old Sim Racer. And we have lost a driver. Someone has left the session. I'm not sure who it is. We will find out a little bit later on. A drive-through has been cleared by Ramsell from Saunders there. And BC in the start says Sam the man, and Tips in the stairs. Racing at the front has been brilliant. It has been a delight to watch, and Limiter still got Goudet giving him a hard time behind. So I have to start thinking of driver of the day as well. So guys, get you ready for driver of the day. And again, I will try my very best to get this Discord working so we can speak to some of the Xbox drivers as well. But here is Flores. He's on the rear wing of Strutt, and just behind them is the lapped driver of Beck, who was threatening for a podium tonight, but for some odd reason, we still don't know why, has ended up off with Ramsell. But here is Flores looking to try and make a move. Oh, he's run wide, That's going to be track limits warning there. And some of these guys must be on the limit now of what their limits are. But through the line they go. 8 minutes left to go of this race, and Goudet is still putting the limiter under a little bit of pressure. Argent now also putting pressure on Millington. He's not quite close enough at the minute. He's actually lost a little bit of touch there, and Flores messed up the straight line of the Eau Rouge and Radeon, so he's dropped further back. Obviously, I'm going to be making a poll of driver of the day. If you guys agree with them, then please vote. If you don't agree and think it's somebody else, then feel free to add a driver on who you think is driver of the day. I was going to put Steve Beck in this one, but due to the fact that this race has gone horribly wrong, I have to take that away, sadly, but it will be an honourable mention nonetheless. But the driver of the day poll has now gone up. So get your votes in on who you think is driver of the day. And John Goudet still trying to put pressure on the limiter, but they've lost touch to Stardog. Meanwhile, Argent is now onto the back of a wounded Millington. Is this where the Bentley's going to finally get the job done on the Ferrari? He's in the tow. Oh, and Argent goes wide though. And possibly had to lift and brake, so he didn't get a warning. And he's gone deep as well. All that time gained, and he's lost it all in the chicane. Once again, here is Flores. He's in a McLaren sandwich here. He's got Struck in front of him. And into the chicane they go. Oh, and there's a Cranky Doghead trying to stay out of the way, and Flores misses his brakes and loses momentum. Another car in the pits. That is Hicks. He's into the pits now. He's got damage to the front end of his car. That's the 63. Who is that? Old Sim Racer drive through for track limits. Oh, it was all going so well for Old Sim Racer, and it's now gone completely down the Swanee for him. Flores much closer to the McLaren. This is about a great run he has through Eau Rouge and Radeon, and he's had all night long. It's now the McLaren under some pressure. That is Beck behind them, and he does not want to get too close into this, but look, the Aston hasn't got enough straight line. So Struck holds on to the position. And poor Beck has to just sit and watch. I don't know where Fernie is, so he's not really going to gain on Fernie, so he's not really gaining any positions, and Beck is just going to have to sit back and watch this fight happen. Unless someone retires, it is not going to happen, and Goudet has now lost pace to Stardog, to the limiter. Stardog's dropped down. Stardog's in the wall. So now Limiter's in third. Has Snai gone past? Yes, Snai's gone past, but Williams hasn't. So Snai's up into P5, minding his own business, and he's in P5. Limiter, meanwhile, is P3. What on earth has been happening to these drivers? Silly errors or silly mistakes or incidences, who knows? But 4 minutes to go, and Flores still can't clear the McLaren. Argent losing touch. Suzy Cream says he span out, so he's possibly made his own mistake there. And Flores must be getting so frustrated. He's got a McLaren up his backside and a McLaren right in front of him. Who is that in front? Is that Best as well? Looking like it is Best. Into the chicane they go, and he gets right out of the way. And Struck has to defend the inside. Flores goes to the outside, tries to tuck back underneath, try and get better traction, but he's possibly let it wheel spin a little bit too much. Goudet now, more than ever, wants to get this podium. But in the way is Fernie, by the looks of things, and he finally clears him. Where is Sam? He's in towards the final couple of corners. Hibbs has had no answer for him, so Hibbs might have to settle for second here, but Sam with another brilliant drive from him. He's having a great start to the season, was brilliant at Brands Hatch, and he's looking even stronger here in this feature race. He's leading away from Hibbs. He's going to possibly have 2 more laps to go here. Yes, he will. So John Goudet's got possibly 2 opportunities to try and get back past the Porsche. Flores, has he finally done the job? No, Struck's still there. Struck pushes him wide, and Flores still can't find a way through, and Beck has to sit behind again. Beck struggling, and I think Flores has gone wide. Has Beck gone through? No, he hasn't, and Beck once again just has to get out of it. He can't fight him, he has to wait. 8-10 separating Flores, Limiter and Goudet. Craig and Tucker having their own little fight. They're a second between the 2 Team Murloc cars. And Argent not near Millington now. He's basically, I think he's used up all his pace, and Stardog, that mistake, has lost out, and he's dropped down to that 6th place position. But there is the Limiter, goes up through the sector, 8/10, 1.1. So John's lost time this lap, this first sector. He's down at the minute. This is for the final podium position. And Flores, once again, has lost some time to the McLaren. Through the final corner they go. And what can Flores do? Can he finally get past Struck towards the end of this race? And Fat Bloke has now caught Luke Saunders. So Luke Saunders' race has gone from bad to worse. And it's now the 2 BMWs, 88. That is Hicks. He's now got to drive through. 7/10 is Goudet and the Limiter. So Goudet's brought that gap back down again. But I don't know if it will be enough, as Sam will start his final lap here. 4.1 is the gap to Hibbs, so he'll start his final lap here, his final tour around Spa-Francorchamps. Hibbs will be in second. The Limiter, though, under some immense pressure from John Goudet. They got DJ Phil ahead of him. Is DJ going to jump straight out of the way? Yes, he does. He lets the two fighting at the front go. And DJ Phil follows him through. Meanwhile, Flores has dropped behind now. Beck has waited too long now, and through he goes. Meanwhile, Fat Bloke is attacking Luke Saunders. Luke Saunders with a wounded BMW. Fat Bloke's looking to the inside. And I think he's going to get the job done. A little bit of contact made, but Fat Bloke gets the job done. Just staying ahead of Sam at the minute. His next car is Tucker, but he's nowhere near him, so he ain't going to get that position anytime soon. Goudet up the inside of Limiter. He finally does it on the last lap. Can he hold on though? Podium position is in sight for Goudet. He's got the job done. Keep it together, John. Flores is now caught back up once again to Strut as Archon's made a mistake because Richie's slow. Why is Richie slow? Is he out of fuel? That sounds like a car with no drive whatsoever, no power, no nothing. I think he's out of fuel. I think he's done. Meanwhile, Sam, where is he? He's coming through the final few corners. Hibbs nowhere near him. And the limiter lost out to Goudet, but he's made a mistake. John, hang in there. Hang in there, John. Don't drop it now. But driver of the day so far, I think, has to look to this man. Sam has been absolutely brilliant tonight. Feature race has worked to a T. Well, it's got to be in the discussions anyway. But Sam, into the chicane he comes. He stops the McLaren dominance. It is BMW who's going to take the feature win tonight. Sam Greaves wins the feature race and race 4 of the season for the Fat Bloke Racing team. Second will go the way of Hibbs for Greasy Bandits Racing. Solid points. And John Goudet and Limiter up close. Is Limiter going to get the job done? He's waiting for Goudet. Goudet takes third. Third place to Goudet. Limiter will take fourth. Probably a late break attempt. Snai is going to finish in fifth. My voice is completely gone. Snai finishes in fifth place position. Stardog, so much potential earlier on. He will finish in sixth. He's going to be very disappointed with that one. Williams, a poor race 1. A much better race 2 with 7th place to his name. Flem Speed 1 finishing in 8th place position with Betterson coming through the S's now to finish in 9th place position, just ahead of Taylor. Fat Bloke and Saunders are going to be battling out right to the very end though. But Betterson coming home for a 9th place position. Solid points for him tonight. 10th is going to be Taylor in the top 10 for him. Millington is going to finish in 11th place position, ahead of Arjun in 12th. Flores will finish in 13th and has got past Struck. Struck's got damage. Will Luke Saunders and them just manage to get Struck, but Flores has finally cleared the McLaren and he is going to finish in 13th place position. Brilliant stuff there from Flores. He comes home in 13th place. 14th is going to go the way of Craig Tucker in 15th. 16th is Fat Bloke. Struck's dropped down the order. What a dramatic night where Struck is just trying to hold on to Luke Saunders. Luke Saunders has gone through, and that is that. Richie, I think, ran out of fuel towards the end. But what a drive. Craig is going to come home for 14th ahead of his teammates in 15th. Those two crossing the line together. Fat Bloke will take 16th. 17th is going to be Luke Saunders. Struck is in 18th. Richie in 18th. 19th is Phil. 20th is Fernie. Wolski 21st. Ramsell 22nd. Smith 23rd. Darkhead 24th. Best 25th. Old Sim Racer 26th. And Varga in 28th. We lost Johnson towards the end there. But that is that as we return that to the pits. I'm going to try my very best to get a chat with the boys from the Xbox lot. So I will try my very best to get this working. So I said, just be patient with me, and let's hope that I get this right. So yeah, give me a few moments.
Green light, give it all you can.
Fingers crossed, everyone should be able to hear me still. So if anyone's in the chat or in the stream, can you please just confirm that you can hear me loud and clear, just so I can make sure that we have got the comms box working. Or if either of the guys that have joined the party now, just let me know if they can hear me on the stream. But nonetheless, I hope it's working. I know they can hear me on the headset, but hopefully they can hear me on the stream. I'll just wait for confirmation. I think they can be heard. Rather not talk about this race, says Ben in the chat. Yeah, we can. Okay, cool. Right, we have got sound. We have got drivers, I think, as well. We'll start with the man who is fighting to the very end, John Goudet. Hello, mate. Looking very strong in the practice session. You look very competitive. Qualifying didn't quite go the way, but God, you had to work for that one. Third place, though, in the end. Well done from you.
Right, it was hard work at the end. There was a little point where Stardog was horrendously quicker than me. I don't know if it was the car that was dropping off or the tyres or if I was overdriving it, but yeah, I kind of dropped off a bit to Stardog, which then gave the other spot to the other guy. I can't remember who it was now, he just came through after Stardog.
Limiter.
And then after that, yeah, that was it, Limiter. Limiter was on form, to be fair. Right to the very last lap, I had to really push him. And then, yeah, try and get him to force that mistake, which ended up happening. He done a mistake, and I knew I had to capitalise on it at that point. I was like, I've got to.
Whoops. Yeah, apologies there. I just, for some reason, when I left the pressed the button then and let me leave the comms then. Anyway, obviously, race one didn't go to plan. I don't know if you were able to see exactly what happened to the start of that race, and please just let me know exactly, because I look up and there's half the grid off.
I literally can't tell you where it started. I come up over a roof. As I come up over it, I just see like a couple of cars going left and right. I'm going to look back on the replay in a little while just to see what actually went on, but yeah, that was a mess. Like that, we haven't seen something like that for a long while. That as that is anyway. But it's like people just need to take time up on, especially on the first lap. You know, you've got cold tyres, cold brakes. Especially up Arouge. Arouge isn't really the best place to be battling up, really. But yeah, it is what it is. I got caught up in it. The position I got in race one, I was happy with. Like I got like 43 seconds worth of damage. I chose not to fix it because the car felt great anyway. It probably would have given me a little bit more speed, but it was literally just get my head down, don't fix the damage, and try and punch in laps upon laps. It done me alright. I think if I'd have fixed the damage, I don't think I'd have got anywhere near where I was, because, let's be honest, the top runners are and lead is fairly close now. So.
would you say this is probably the most balanced Pro-Am grid we've had in a long time?
In a very long time, yeah. And I'm going back to like PS4 days. I don't think we've had a well balanced grid like this. Where I'd say PS4 days, probably second season, third season of what I joined you guys.
Yeah.
It's nice. It is nice to do it, like especially with like you've got the likes of Sam. Like I mean, Sam's up his game. You know, all the FBR boys to be fair have up their game. It's nice to see Bex up there. Yeah, Bora Bex. That bloke's kind of making his way up. I already knew Limiter was fairly quick anyway. Yeah, it is good. It's nice. I like it when it's nice and close like this, but when you get close racing drivers, you've got more chance in like battling mess ups and so.
Yeah, indeed. Nonetheless, mate, we move on to Indianapolis next. What do you think you can do there?
It's going to be just one of those stay out of trouble races, I think. I don't really get on with the track, but then I said this when was it? Not last season, season before, wasn't it? I said that I don't really like the track, and I think I ended up getting quite a good result there. So I'll just go in. I'm not really looking in too far ahead. I'm literally just taking each race as it comes, do a bit of practicing, try not to over practice, and yeah, just see what I can pick up.
Well, nonetheless, mate, congratulations on the podium tonight. You definitely worked hard for it, and yeah, best luck for Indianapolis.
Thank you. Thank you.
And we now move on to second place in the feature race. We speak to Hibbs, and first things first, Hibbs. How many people have you got supporting you? Because there seems to be a lot of people in the chat. You seem to be the number one driver in the Pro-Am category. But nonetheless, mate, you've had a fantastic night's worth of racing, a race win, and a second place. Brilliant stuff from yourself. Just talk us through the night. You couldn't have asked for better, really.
Race one was a bit of a nightmare. Obviously, the crash at the top of the hill. Same as John, really. It's not the track I had nowhere to go. So you sort of like just pushing your way through to try and get back onto get back going again. And then it's just a case of picking off places, really. I got a P4, I think it was, in race one.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was about as good as I could have got, really. My main aim is trying to outscore the others in and around me in the standings, so I think I've done that. Myself and John getting a good score for the teams is also a good result. So yeah, I was too focused on Rob in the second race, and I didn't change tyres to try and stay ahead of him on track, and that sort of screwed me over towards the end. I really struggled.
Obviously, the Sam hunting you down at the end really started to affect your race. Obviously, let's talk about the first race. Obviously, the reverse grid. I don't know if it's something that's new to you that you've come across in our championship, at least. How did you find it? Obviously, Spa, big open circuit. It's definitely places to overtake. How did you find the challenge of trying to work from your way from the back to the front?
I enjoy it. The only thing is it seems to be quite incident-packed. So it's just trying to keep yourself out of trouble.
Well,
I think Brands was a bit similar, not so bad, but this one was a bit tricky at the start.
Yeah. Obviously, a good night's worth of racing with that involved. It's allowed you to. I'm trying to look at the standings. I don't know if they've been updated or not, but you are pretty much in the hunt regarding the championship, looking very strong. We looked at Indianapolis next, a circuit that's a lot of straights, a lot of tight, twisty corners. How do you think yourself and the McLaren's going to get on there?
The first time I did Indianapolis was in pre-season testing with John, so I'm sort of finding my feet with that one, but I think pace-wise I don't feel I'm too bad. I've got a setup that I'm happy with, so it's just a case of over the next week putting in some laps and trying to stay consistent. I'm aiming more for consistency than speed.
Well, nonetheless, mate, you've had a fantastic night with racing, and also you've got driver of the day from the fans as well, so congratulations on that as well.
Well, everybody I know in the chat, which is all of them.
Nonetheless, mate, congratulations on tonight.
Thank you very much.
And now we move on to your feature race winner. Sam, obviously, coming to the season, Brands Hatch, you looked very strong, and obviously typical FBR style, you guys always seem to have the bad luck, whether if it's yourself, Beck, Fat Bloke. One of you FBR boys always seems to be having incidents, but so far, so good this season. You've been looking very dominant. How was that race for you? Because you looked like you were in control pretty much from start to end.
Yeah, I think this is my best match, to be honest. I think I was driving around this one for 3 or 4 hours, no problem at all. And it was just, as Steve was saying, just like getting out of trouble. The guys really helped us out at the start. Beck's got a good start, and I'm not sure what happened to Ibs. Stardog from the get-go, but we both just drove past him, and then Stardog, Ibs and John were fighting, which was just giving us a nice little gap, and I was rubbing my head together really, just looking at those guys taking lumps at each other, and it was fantastic for me and Bex. It just allowed us to take it nice and easy on that first stint. Real shame for Bex that he lost it on the second stint, because I think it would have been a really good close race between us two at the end. I couldn't work out immediately when he come out the pits. I thought he had the pit stop from the Dodge, and then as soon as I saw the back end of his car, I realised that he hadn't changed tyres, which gave me a little bit of hope. But he was driving really well for the first 10 minutes or so, and then I was able to really just really bend and drive past. So yeah, I wouldn't say it was a stroll, but it was good on my best track. It won't be like that next week. It wasn't like that last week. The Brands Hatch driver, to be fair, I don't know where that quali lap came from for race 1, but race 2 wasn't like that. The rest of the season won't be, so don't expect this to be the shape of things to come.
Obviously, yourself and Fat Bloke, towards the last season, things really did not go your way. Obviously, you've had a great start to this season. Fat Bloke, all I'm going to say is that if you really want to see a night's worth of racing, look at Monza, because that was quite hilarious for me to commentate on my own. I do enjoy rewatching that. But tonight you were very strong at Spa. You had the pace. Obviously, we're looking at the champ. It's a little bit too early to think about the championship, but with good little results here and there, surely you got to start thinking: could this be the season, maybe, or is it just too early to tell?
Yeah, I think I'll do all right in the features. To be fair, I think I'm there or thereabouts on pace to kind of be in that top 10 to hopefully get away clear. I think the kicker this year is going to be the first race, the sprints, because the field is so much closer than it was before. You usually have to pick up pretty easy places at the back. That's not going to happen. There's really not anybody that's really standout weak, so it's quite, unless you get something like that happen tonight, it's quite hard to fight your way through the field. So I think the sprint races are going to be very interesting, and people are going to pick up some big and loose big points in those races.
Indeed. Obviously, like you said, Indianapolis is coming up next, a circuit that you've already said that you don't think the same pace is going to be there. Let's talk about Indianapolis quickly. A circuit, like I said to the guys, it's a lot of straights, tight corners. So straight line cars like the Mustang or even the traction zones of the Porsche should be in a good position. How do you think you're going to get on in the M4?
Yeah, it's not a great car for the track, to be fair, but I'm not quick there, but again, I'm relatively consistent. So I think a lot of it is going to just come down to how close the fight is between the rest of the guys. And if they can stay clean, I'll be in trouble. If there's issues on the track and a few of them slow each other up a little bit and end up with some damage, I think we'll do all right. To be fair, I think I can get down there for an hour okay. But it's really going to depend on what happens with the rest of the guys. It was interesting. I see Sky was a lot slower today than it was last week. So I think we're going to get some track-specific quick drivers here that are going to take us by surprise. He certainly took me by surprise at Brands Hatch last week. So yeah, it could be anywhere. I think the Porsches will do well next week. I think Bounce was on fire at times during the race tonight, but then again, they need to keep it together for 60 minutes, and that's not easy.
I can tell you now, the Porsche does not look good around there. I'll give you that. I can't get it to work anyway. I mean, to be fair, most of the season I've been saying I can't get the Porsche to work, so we'll see how it goes. But Sam, nonetheless, a fantastic night's worth of racing. I'm actually going to give you driver of the day. Hibbs has done a fantastic job tonight, but I think tonight, Sam, you stepped up to the plate and you drove brilliantly. So congratulations on that one.
Thanks, Dan. It's much appreciated.
And that is that for the driver interviews. And we are now going to look at the championship standings. And obviously, this is provisional championship standings. Still penalties and tickets to go through. But it is Snai who leads the way. And reminder as well, drop scores have now started to take place. So if they had a bad round this round compared to Brands, it would be taken away. But obviously, that will change throughout the season. So just keep an eye on that. It will change and update as we go along. But it is Snai leading the way, 10 points ahead of Hibbs and 14 points ahead of Ramsel. Sam is set in P4 with Betterson P5, John Gooday P6 with Stardoll P7, Becken P8, the limiter in P9, Richie P10, Millington P11, Taylor is in 12th, 13th is Tucker, 14th is Fat Bloke, Williams in 15th, Wolfsky in 16th, 17th is Struck, and in 18th is Argent. Old Sim Racer 19th for Saunders in 20th, Johnson 21st, and Flem Speed 1 22nd, DJ Phil 23rd, Flores 24th, Benedict Varga 25th, Craig 26th, with Smith in 27th, Best in 28th, Fernie 29th, and Hicks in 30th, Andrews 31st, Iveski in 32nd, and Cranky Duckheads in 33rd, Lane in 34th. I hate having 34 cards because that has a lot of names to read out. P1 in the drivers, in the teams championship, it is Greasy Bandits leading the way, 11 points ahead of Cam Racing, but Fat Bloke Racing aren't a million miles away. They are in P3 with Stage 2 Motorsport also starting to gain on them as well, with FSO Racing in P5, Mad Dog Motorsport in P6, SimPlay Racing P7, P8 is Richie Corsa Team with Team Merlot in P9, P10 is RBGT Team with P11 going away at Team Tom. P12 is Cloud9 Racing at Roadrunners Motors in 13th, and Quantum Motorsport in 14th. 15th is Ball Busters Racing, and 16th is TRC Audio Sport, and 17th is Mobbers Racing. And that is that for the Pro-Ams. We now look to tomorrow night for the pros. They will now hit the circuit as well, and it is going to be Matthew Duffin and Kelly Davis, Sweet and Sticky, in your box, bringing you all the action tomorrow night. Make sure you tune in for that one, as what can the pros do around this demanding circuit at Spa? And like I said, make sure you tune in for that one. But for the rest of the guys, they now look to stateside, they look to America. What can they do at Indianapolis at the Brickyard? That is the question. I've been Dan Davis, and this has been SimPlay Motorsport. We shall see you tomorrow night for the pros. Good night.